Hey YouTube, so just a quick video, a how-to video on how to remove the CV axles, both the passenger side and the driver's side on a Toyota MR2 Spyder, 2001 through 2005 MR2. This is the third gen. So this is just a guide on how to remove these. They're kind of a pain in the butt, but this is the technique that worked well for me. And if you like this video, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. So, big update in my opinion. I've been working away at the CV axles on this 1ZZ for what feels like eons, at least a couple evenings. Again, my time is kind of limited now with the newborn and all. But update here, I got basically everything off, the knuckle off and everything, just zip tied on here, the caliper zip tied on here. The CV axle on this side, on the passenger side, is hanging, and then the same on the driver's side as well. CV axle is just hanging. My hub is right here, and my caliper is right here, just zip tied to the spring. Fortunately, I couldn't get the hub off of here because, of all things, the ABS sensor is just stuck in there and I could not get it out or work it out any which way. So, you know, I didn't want to cut this or bother trying to like feed it through here. So, just hanging here, holding on by zip ties to the shock itself, both the hub and the calipers. But anyways, on the CV axle here, on the passenger side, what I had to do with this carrier bearing, it's two pieces. As you can see, there's the bracket that mounts to the engine, 3 bolts there, and then this has 2 bolts connecting this bracket and this bracket, and then there's kind of like a metal hub that goes in there. Could not separate it or get this CV axle started, so what I basically had to do was stick this chisel or wedge in between right here. See how there's kind of 2 seams where it was cast? So this is all one piece and this is all one piece. After looking at videos and forums, Spyder chat, thank you, and YouTube videos, and then going on to Rock Auto and looking at what this part looks like, figured that I need to separate these 2 pieces. They weren't separating really easily, like everything else on this car. It's been a major fight. So what I had to do is stick the chisel in here and then hammer at it from different angles. First I had to beat on this corner right here with the hammer, which kind of sort of broke it loose. And then I just stuck the chisel in at different areas from the top, from the bottom, and chiseled this apart. And now it's separating here nice and easily, and there's the CV axle. It just pops out once you separate it out of here, but it's kind of rust welded shut, as you can see, this hub right here. So it's major pain in the butt to get this out, and everything else on this car has been a major pain in the butt to get out. Everything's kind of rusty under here. I got this from a guy up in Tacoma, Washington, but I think a good portion of it's spent on the East Coast up north, so I think there's some rust and salt damage on this car. But again, major pain in the butt. At least there's progress being made. Unfortunately, it's a lot slower than I wished. So this has been a few evenings in now, trying to get this engine out of here. Major pain in the butt, and what the forums are saying is these CV axles either go easy or they go hard. So passenger side is out finally, thank goodness. And then I'm working at the driver's side, which is fighting me even more. So trying different things. If you have a method for getting this out that worked really easily for you, put it in the comments. Any suggestions are helpful for me and everybody else who has a MR2 Spyder. So again, onwards and upwards, I guess. And success, finally. After I don't know how many attempts at this, how many hours spent, a couple of evenings at least, I finally got the driver's side CV axle out. of the transmission here. Man, that was a nightmare in a fight. But what I ended up doing was using this pry bar, this big one that I got at O'Reilly's. I was jamming it in between each of these curves right here, and just rotating the CV axle, jamming the pry bar in between here, and then the transmission housing right here. So pry bar went in right there, and as you can see, the scratches on the end right there of the transmission, and just basically jimmying it back and forth, and then rotating the CV axle, and slowly and surely it popped out. And I'm assuming it's all because of this little, snap ring or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the name for it, the technical name, but that catching basically. So that was a nightmare. But it went easier after getting the passenger side CV axle out. As I mentioned before, just follow that method there, and then you can get the driver's side out. I've done countless of these before, on Subarus, on Nissans, on a couple other cars, and it's never been this much of a nightmare. So, gigantic pain in the butt if you're doing this. I feel for you. Hopefully it goes easily for you, but it did not for me. So, but there's the technique. Again, if you have a method that works for you, that works better for getting the CV axles out, drop it in the comments, share your experiences and what works for you and what doesn't.